Thanks for watching Afternoon Live. You've probably heard 2025 being called the Year of the Snake, but what does that really mean? Here to break it down for us, we welcome all the way from Hong Kong, astrologist Letao Wang. Thank you so much for joining us and waking up early. You're many time zones ahead of us, so we appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Hannah. It's a pleasure.
Tell me about the Year of the Snake. When does it officially begin, and what are some things that we should be on the lookout for?
Absolutely, yeah. So this year, 2025, we are welcoming the new year of Snake, starting on February the 3rd, which is the official day of the start of the spring, based on the ancient Chinese solar calendar. We're actually seeing a very beautiful transition from the previous year's Yang dragon to this year's in Snake. And the snake energy is all talking about our intuition, our sense of mysticism, wisdom, and transformation. And so if I can use a very interesting analogy to talk about the change from last year to this year, is that if the dragon is a little bit like the emperor wielding its sword, right, charging forward into the battlefield, right, so that we can conquer things, we can achieve things, the snake energy is a little bit like the imperial advisor whispering wisdom at the emperor's ear and saying, Your Majesty, maybe there's a different way we can do this. And so this year it's all talking about, take a step back, right, and do a little bit summary about what we have achieved and what we haven't. And so this is about gaining a lot of the wisdom through our past experience.
That's so fascinating. So are there differences in looking at the Year of the Snake in terms of Chinese astrology versus more Western astrological approach?
Well, that's a great question. So it's fascinating to see how aligned the Western astrology and the Eastern metaphysics are, because snake, as an animal in Chinese astrology, is also about shedding the old skin, right? So when we are actually learning about the past, when we are summarizing our old experiences, we also have to come to terms with, okay, what do I need to let go? But in Western astrology, right, numerologically speaking, this year, if you add all the digits of 2025 together, we get number 9, right? 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5. And number 9 is a final number in the numerological sequence. So even from the Western numerological perspective, this year is about completion. This year is about looking back. This year is about growth and also evolution, so that we can finish and complete the previous cycle and move forward with renewed and also refreshed perspectives.
Yeah, so as you're thinking about approaching this new year in the Year of the Snake, are there certain opportunities or things that you're looking for growth in and kind of taking that perspective with you?
100%. Yes. Specifically, I would say this year is very important for us to gain the support and find the right type of community that we feel we want to belong to, or we feel like, this is my community, my people. Because this year, the inward snake year, inward is more a little bit like a vine, if you know what I mean. It needs something to climb onto, right, in order to thrive. And so the inward energy tells us that sometimes it's much better when we have the right supportive system around us, the community, the group, the class, right, the good teacher, the good friends around us, and that will really further enrich our experience and help us move forward with the wisdom of the snake.
Okay, so can you have your loved ones surrounding you help you kind of lean into that energy more throughout the year as well?
100%, yeah.
Okay, what else should we be looking out for in the Year of the Snake? I'm learning so much from you.
So I would say another thing about the snake year is that we do have to do a lot of introspection, because snake is also representing mysticism, right? Spirituality, instead of, the dragon, the aggressiveness, right? Where they're just conquering everything and raising, enemy to the ground. So this year, I would highly recommend that each one of us have some spiritual practice on a daily basis. This could be about, journaling. Sometimes I associate with the snake with writing a lot, because, a lot of the wisdom they does come from books, right? And so it's about reading, journaling, and sometimes about writing what is important, right? Our feelings and thoughts, and again, coming back to that, summarization that I earlier mentioned. And so also meditation, yoga, mindfulness, all these kind of practices could be very, very useful in the Year of Snake.
Yeah, that sounds super helpful. What about challenges or certain things to maybe avoid in this season?
Absolutely, yeah. So Because snake energy will need us to shed the old skin, right? So one of the key things for this year is about how we can really draw boundaries and let go of our past, especially the past experience that can be quite entangling, if you know what I mean. And I think, each one of us, probably we carry some burden from our past. Either it's from our earlier childhood, right? And we just never really released that. Or sometimes this could be about something just happened maybe last year and we're still carrying that burden or we still feel unresolved with that experience. But the snake here is saying that if you cannot shed that old skin, you cannot evolve. And so this year, I would highly recommend that part of us, right? So this is about, okay, what do I need to release and what do I need to remove actively from my life so that I feel light and I feel more motivated and more lighthearted in terms of, moving forward.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing all that with us. It was so nice chatting with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Have a wonderful new year.
You too. Happy New Year to you.
Okay, we'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this. First, here is the latest must-have gadget from Ellie King.